our last scenario here is going to be myself playing the role of angry parent and Sarah playing her traditional role of official. In a tight game, I've spoken loudly and vehemently that this ref is making a lot of bad calls, and I'm the ref. That's a double. That ball was in. That line judge wasn't paying attention. Get him to pay attention over there. Come on, R1. You need to be doing a better job.
Overrule that line judge.
Overrule that line judge, right? I'm getting out of hand.
Yeah, so this actually does happen quite a bit. Just in general with refs and parents. So I'm reffing, and I see that, my line judges are 15 years old. They're seeming a little nervous. I during a timeout, I call them over and I'm talking to them a little bit, and I reassure they're doing the best job they can. Go back. And then, the timeout release, we're reffing it, it's going. The parents are getting louder. Sharky is literally right behind me, getting louder. I can tell that this is affecting, boom, boom, the progress of this match.
And it's affecting the line judges, as it should.
As it should, because they should be professional. And I should see everything through 15 players on the court to see where that ball lands. So that's an interesting part. So what I do is, as an official, just to kind of finish this part off, Mark, is I stop play. Call over either, the site manager, or I go have a work team or one of the line judges go get a site manager. Okay. Site manager comes over, or a lead ref, if it's at a club tournament, like a champs tournament, or a site director, I said that already, to come over and either address the situation, remove the situation, or just be present to diffuse the situation. And then we continue. It does calm down, right? We end up getting through that match. However, we know that this parent or parents have done it before and will probably continue to do it again. That was a Band-Aid on the situation. How do we address that with those parents?
Well, I think that your club director and coach should have a direct conversation with that person at your site, and talk about maybe some of the things that we've mentioned. Early on when we talked about the importance of sportsmanship. 70% of kids are quitting. Officials and coaches are leaving. We have shortages in those areas, with one of the primary reasons being relationships. If you have a difficulty or problem with a call, sometimes chirping or saying something is going to happen. But sure, you took it in the example to where it became personal, where it went over the top a little bit. This line judge doesn't do this or didn't do this. And so when it becomes more personalized and less general, I think you absolutely are doing the right thing in stopping it and saying something, needs to happen here. Think about what we do. We have a shortage. This just blows my mind. We have a shortage of officials in almost every sport. And we take our youngest officials and we put them down at the lowest levels of youth sports, which sometimes is the most toxic culture. And that's their learning laboratory, right? And sometimes we put them with another kid that's their age. And because they've played the sport, we assume that they know how to officiate or do the things that they are going to be asked to do. And we don't have time or make time to provide them with the tools, just like we talked about earlier on about, arming people with the right tools, the youth coaches. Trying to do that with our youngest officials is pretty important too. Otherwise, we could lose them for good. I think that a couple of things come to my mind in all of these situations that you guys acted out. We have to remember that we're the adults and we're the role models, and we're setting the expectations for what we want to have happen.
Adulting is hard though, Mark. I've been saying that for a couple of years now.
You.
And Jen quite often say, when you look around and you're the adult in the room, I kind of panic.
Right? You're like, wait.
I wear 3 of these guys. I started out with 1, and when I would get ready to say or do something dumb, I'd snap myself. Well, now I have 3 because I snap myself so I need sometimes a harder snap. But even developing, as goofy as it sounds, even developing some type of a coping mechanism for when you know you're getting to that level, just to kind of remind yourself, hey, I'm the adult in the room. So whatever that might look like for you, it may be something that you're doing universally across your club or your program. It may be something you're doing individually, but whatever it is, that is key, right? Understanding protocols is always going to be important. And as parents, we need to communicate what protocols are to them instead of just sending an email or a sheet of paper, if that's how it happens. I don't know how it happens. I shouldn't assume.
It depends, right?
Okay, but a parent education meeting that's going to, once that common core language, once your club creates that common core language and what we stand for and what we're going to commit to, once we make sure that that matches up with Badger Region's language, because that's our partner, and then we have to have a conversation with the parents and everybody that's part of our club and talk about that and what do those words mean and what do they look like. That's our baseline, right? And then we have something to refer back to every time something challenging comes up. But if people are hearing things for the first time, it's going to be difficult for us to get ahead of it all.
Well, Mark, and it's not just to kind of loop back around on this. It's not even like the young officials or even the young coaches, right? That we're trying to maintain or help them understand, what they can do with behavior, especially coming from parents. It's even the seasoned ones and the seasoned officials that, and me as an example, I try to keep parents and reactions out of my bubble. None of us as officials are perfect. None of us as coaches are perfect. And I wish sometimes we could just explain that to who's watching us or who is judging us or who is reacting to us, that we're doing the best we can.
Why can't we do that, Sarah? Why can't we do short little PSA things? Why can't we throw out a 15-second clip that gets read over a microphone at a timeout or whatever the case is, right? Hey, did you know that 70% of kids quit organized sports by the time they're 13 years old, with the number one reason being toxic culture? Or whatever it is, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And then a call to action. Please be positive. Cheer, but please be positive. This message brought to you by Badger Region or by the name of the club or whomever it is. You could do that. You could come up with 20 of those with one short little clip, and you can read them repeatedly anywhere and everywhere that it would make sense for you, right? What are we doing to make our parents feel like they're part of the club instead of just somebody who's paying money and dropping a kid off? Are we involving them and making them feel part of the organization throughout? I've done a couple sportsmanship presentations that were to club volleyball teams and the parents. And that's a nice stepping stone. The sportsmanship talks about, it uses the acronym RISE: respect, influence, support, and enjoy. And it's strategies for parents and spectators to get the most out of watching the kids compete. And we talk about some of these statistics and some of the ramifications of if you do it wrong or if we continue to do it wrong. These are the things that are happening, and we need to be better. And here's ways that we can be better that are pretty simple. But what do we do for the parents? It seems like we have a student athlete silo, we have a coaching silo, and we have a parent silo. And they're all part of your athletic community. But if we keep them separated like that, it's not much of a community, right?
Right.
And so how can we create community more? Let's not be adversaries. Let's invite everybody into the conversation.
Right. And Mark, I'm so glad that you were able to touch on your other program that is so valuable, the Sportsmanship, to go along with your My Coach Plays Faves presentation that you do for all of our clubs that do request it, which is awesome and amazing.